Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
It's intended to be like, would you say, like in the priorities of your life, you've got your job and your kids and family and all this sort of thing.
And then I've got the front burner stuff.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week we choose a popular saying to take an admittedly shallow and hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, if we're lucky, educational dive into its usage, its origins. But mostly we're going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I'm Skinny. Do you remember Doug and Wendy Weiner?
No.
Okay, it was a Saturday Night Live skit where they just like, I can't eat that. I have diverticulitis.
That sounds familiar. Like there's always a sound afterwards. I think we're ready to go. I would have never in a million years remembered their names, though.
There's a comedian who used to do it too.
Oh, I know that guy. He always looks like he's cracking himself up. Something frying. Do you hear that? He's frying up some bacon?
It's so hot, maybe, that the studio is catching fire.
It is hot. The weather's been outrageous.
It's like helter skelter.
So I was going to bring this up.
Summer swelter.
This sort of has to do with. Here. Okay, fine. Okay, I get what you're saying. I was going to bring this up a couple weeks ago when we were chatting here because I had just gone camping and you were about to go camping, but I was going to tell you about something. So we'll use this to intro what the story I wanted to tell you because it works well for today. This is Simpsons.
So I put puppeteering on the back burner.
I put puppeteering on the back burner.
I love Back.Burner things.
So, Back.Burner is what made me think of this. I bought. You've gone camping with me. You've gone camping with me. I like.
You actually have fantastic color right now.
Camping gadgets.
Oh, you just love gadgets in general.
In general, true. But
yeah,
I always pick up like one little thing a year for camping, and I don't even do that much camping.
No, but you do enough.
But this time was a.
You've got to do 3 weeks a year.
Very inexpensive. I've had a camp stove for years and years, or sometimes I take my Coleman,
like your home stove,
Rolly barbecue,
240 volt.
So you know the classic green 2-burner Coleman stove,
yes,
camping stove,
iconic.
I found an oven that collapses down to about the size of a pizza, and it just sits on top of that burner.
That's great.
And you use the same burner. You put this. It literally looks like a safe. Like it has a red knob to open it. So it looks like there's a safe sitting on your stove. Anyway, I'm like, I'm gonna try this.
Did you do pizza or cookies or?
We did muffins, biscuits, cinnamon rolls, potatoes, hash browns, all different times.
That's great.
And the muffins, the bottoms were a little blackened, like the very bottoms, and we just sliced off that 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this was a win.
It revolutionized your camping game?
Yeah, and since today we're talking about Back.Burner as an idiom.
Are you thinking like backcountry or?
No, burner. Like putting it on the burner of the stove to create an oven.
I'm a fan of this because like you've gone camping. Have you seen my Dutch oven?
Yeah. I was looking at Dutch ovens too, and I decided to give this a go.
Yeah, it sounds like actually way more useful. So with the Dutch oven, it's fun whether it's directly into the fire or trying to put some coals on top, coals on the bottom, and then baking like cakes.
Yeah, and has it worked out?
Yeah, my favorite and it is the pineapple upside down cake.
So it doesn't burn?
No.
Really?
I know. It's
How
crazy.
does it not burn? The bottom, I mean.
Well, actually, you end up, oddly, you put more coals onto the top of the Dutch oven than the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so like it generates the bulk of its heat from the top down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not... And when I have gone direct fire, stuff just absolutely blackens.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, absolutely.
So direct fire meaning what? Like the Dutch oven
into the
is
fire.
in the fire?
Yeah, right at the edge of a fire.
So how do you use it then?
Often with coals.
Briquettes?
Yeah, you can use briquettes.
But what do you do? You're talking taking coals out of a real fire?
Yeah, if I want control over it, then I use briquettes.
Okay.
So that you can bring something to you can literally go I think I want about 350 degrees to cook or whatever. And just by how many briquettes you pile on top.
Does it have a thermometer on it?
So there's a thing. No, but I know by end result and how long something should take in a certain scenario that you're going to get approximate cooking time. Yeah, it's called it's the 2 over 2 under method. So whatever, if I was to put a baseline of 11, then I would put 13 on the top and then 9 on the bottom. So 2 over on the top and then 2 under.
Of what?
Briquettes.
Okay, so you do use briquettes.
If I want control, like a cake, yes. When I've tried to do it with not, like I baked a pie that was like, it was okay.
So when you use briquettes, are you on the
much
ground?
More control. Yeah, absolutely. I just put down a couple pieces of tin foil or whatever.
Yeah,
it's great.
Huh. Yeah, I was looking at those because I was looking up recipes and whatever for camping.
Then it's just kind of like an around the campfire activity.
Totally.
Yeah. So
but the last several times I think that I've gone camping, there've been fire bans. So my propane fire is all I've really got. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Would you get away with the briquettes on the ground?
I haven't tried. I haven't tried it into the propane one either. That's like a great idea. Huh. The bulk of the heat is, as I was saying, comes from the top though.
Right.
So, and when you're cooking in the fire,
baking,
there is no back burner. It's just all burner.
That's true.
Yeah, you can put it in the back, the front. Won't matter. It's all burner.
It's all burner.
Yeah. So anyways.
Burner. Back burner. So the meaning of the idiom back burner is to put something off for later. Something that is to be done. You're like, I'm going to do that later. But it's also used a variety of ways. So there's the delaying of something, or it's to declare something of low priority.
Like non-important.
Or it could be on standby because something, kind of like the quote we use is something has now taken precedence. So it's like it's on the back burner because of.
Do you know what's gray and unimportant?
Ash.
And irrelevant? Continue.
Okay. I was just declaring the meaning or how this idiom is used to put something on the back burner. I think we've all used it. This is a really common one.
Yeah, I like back burner things.
Do you?
Yeah, sometimes I think it's like a trap to be more caught up in back burner items than the main things.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's just...
Then it's not really a back burner thing if you're more caught up in the back burner
it's
thing.
Like collectively, all the back burner becomes front burner. I don't know. It's like just... Because if you take care of the small things, then I don't know. Is it the other way around? You're supposed to take care of the big things and then the small things take care of themselves?
It's not what you should do or shouldn't do.
Waste your time on all the small things.
It's just if you're wasting your time...
the big things disappear.
See, if there's action... Oh, sorry, that was me. If there's action on what you're doing at all, then it's not really back burner. Because back burner it's simmering, it's inactive. You're not... In its idiomatic usage, it's not something you're even paying attention to. So if you're paying attention to it, you've brought it to the front burner.
So if it's intended to be, like, would you say, like, in the priorities of your life, you've got, your job and your kids and family and all this sort of thing.
And then I've got the front burner stuff.
The really important things. Yeah. And then throw in, like, hobby. And then so... Like, sometimes the hobby could be like, I don't know, just really exciting.
See, none of those things are back burner. Back burner is...
Yeah.
Back burner is my music career, back burner.
But there's times it's not.
Not anymore.
Really?
It's back burner. Everything else would take precedence over it.
I don't know. Really?
I think so. Real life kicks you in the head.
Shouldn't maybe back burner things... and your affinity to them be declared by other people than yourself?
Probably. That's probably true. Okay.
Things that are...
This is a out of left field, but go from camping to back burner, kitchen-related things. As we're wrapping up camping, we left late in the day, and my son and his wife, who camped with us for a couple of the days... He says, do you want to join us? We're going to go to this place, this restaurant. I'm like, it's pretty late. He's like, it's open 24 hours. I'm like, oh. And we were camping in Harrison Lake, and it's in Chilliwack. And he goes, I said, I don't know, it's getting pretty late. And he's like, well, let me just read you some of the reviews on Yelp or whatever. And so it's like, great menu, including the item where it says free, religious views. the next review. This is a cult. Don't go there. It's run by a cult.
Yeah, you're talking about the Yellow Deli.
Have you been there?
Yes, of course.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Let's go to the cult restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It was very interesting.
Yeah, no, it's I think it's an actual cult.
Yeah.
Not screwing around cult. Like
No,
it's
no,
like
no.
full out cult.
They've got their.
This is how they pay for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, their servers aren't paid.
I don't know all the details of the inner workings of the thing, but
In the reviews, it's like, do not tip. They're not paid. The tips go to the commune.
okay. Well, there you
I
go.
tipped, just
Did
so
ya?
you know. Yeah,
Let's support a commune.
It came up on the little display, tip options, and I'm like,
That is actually driving me crazy right
can't
now.
not tip.
Yeah, and this has nothing to do with today's podcast, but the tipping has gone crazy.
There's comedian John Christ who has spent a lot of time talking on his podcast about tipping. And he said if you shifted tipping to either nothing or 25%, you'd immediately see when you should tip or not. And I'm like, interesting. Because if it's worth 25%, it was worth a tip.
So there's this thing about, like, if you can't afford to tip, then you can't afford to eat out. That you shouldn't eat out unless you can afford to tip. Which I just think is crazy.
Right.
That there's a displayed price that we all agree upon. This is the cost of the thing. This is the cost of me doing business, et cetera, et cetera. This pays for, like, the utilities, the rent of the place, the servers, the food. You can spend $25 on this thing. Okay, we agree. You put out the price. That's the agreed upon price. And then the least amount of effort, I think, is like, oh, you come in, I pour you some water, I bring the plate to your food that we've agreed upon to your table, and then everything after that would be maybe good service or
right.
But when people are like, no, like it's commonplace to give 20% for good service. Like, I'm baffled by that.
So
there's like minimum effort. Like, what was the minimum effort you needed to do to just do your job?
what drives me crazy is a tip should go to someone because they deserve the tip. But most restaurants are now, you tip out, like the kitchen staff gets tipped, everybody gets a little piece of the pie.
So that actually makes sense to me.
Well, no, then it should be just in the price if everybody's getting it.
So if that person is the final, the final piece of the puzzle, like there was like the person washing the dishes, the you know, like the cook, all the things that went into it.
So it depends on what your reason for tipping.
If you
if
add
the food is extraordinary, then I'd like to tip the kitchen.
Oh, so you're going like that direct.
What are you tipping for?
Oh, so
was the person a comedian at your table,
Sure.
and you're like, that was a show, I love that, then it's going to the server. If it was the hostess that brought you in, that just it made your eating experience different, then they get the tip.
it's like
An Uber driver is not tipping out to the rest of his other drivers.
If I was to go to, like,
Should be individualistic.
the front person for a band, in many people's eyes, is the band.
What I should do is tip in cash. Or they probably still have to.
Yeah, it all goes through, but there's a whole process behind that I think deserves a cut. Even if it's like, oh, like 5% goes to the dishwashers, 10% goes to the whatever, and the server gets the lion's share or whatever,
Totally.
or just include.
Totally disagree with you.
Just include it into the price. If this is a cost of doing business, then include it into the price.
Right. So that I agree with you. If it's the
no
cost
tip.
of doing business, put it into the price. And but then it's not a tip. A tip is your personal one-on-one experience with somebody.
But you're only going to have experience with the front, the guy singing the song.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's all the accolades, all the all of that goes to that one person.
That's right.
Though the drummer, it doesn't happen without him.
So outside of restaurants, that is what happens, including the front man of a band.
It's the last contact point of the organization.
There's something about being the front man.
I'm going to give this front person, the waitress, waiter, like 20% of a bill. It's like, oh, you're out with your family or whatever. Okay, it's gonna cost you $100. Here's an extra $25 just for you for getting me some glasses of water.
No, not for getting glasses of water. It's got to be extraordinary.
So when that thing comes through, do you go, this was 5% tip?
Yep. I don't, but that's how it should be.
Exactly that you don't. Yeah, you don't.
No, I don't like the tipping process, and not because, if it's a cost of doing business, it shouldn't be in the form of a tip.
So like I went for a milkshake to like Fatburger. Don't judge.
I'm not. I'm ready to go.
I saw it right in your eyes.
No, I'm like, as soon as this is over.
Or off the Fatburger.
But for now, let's put it on the back burner.
Okay. And so I go there, and it's like the literal whole process is I'm in, I order, I get my shake, and there's a thing like for tipping. Like, what is you did exactly the least amount that can be done.
Oh, I don't tip like that.
So
it's 0 for me.
So no tipping isn't an option on the thing. You have to like go through into a second page menu. Yeah. It's not like no tip. It's like, you want 15, 18, 20.
There's always an option out of that.
So but the thing to do to make it all go away fast, so you got to go into like the little sub menu. No, thank you. Oh, a custom amount of tip. What would you like to do for your custom amount of tip?
0.
Yeah, so it's custom amount. Enter your custom amount, and then process, or you just go 15% and it's over.
Yeah, that is not
exactly. It's not worthy of it.
No, if you're not serving me at a table while I sit there like a fat king.
And so the last person to receive, the only person capable of receiving the benefit is your last touch point.
That's what I think it should be. Yeah,
they're the only person capable of it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They didn't get there at all by themselves. They put something into the computer.
That's why
a whole team of people did other things. A prep crew in the morning. The management, everything behind it that went into making that happen. That final touch point, you go, yeah, you deserve everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So that part, I think, does make sense. But the tipping as just a standard, to me, doesn't make sense. The front person, the face-to-face person, is always the person. If you don't like that, go get that job. If you can't do that job, you're never going to get a tip.
Classic economics, you can't all have that job. You need the rest of the job to have that job.
The rest of the job people most likely don't have the people skills.
It's like a supply chain thing. You can't get to the end without the rest of the back part. That's why they need to be paid out by percentages. Yeah.
Yeah. So in a band, the lead singer is the face of the band. They're going to make more than everybody else.
They're the one. That's fine. Yep.
But you need a drummer.
You do.
The difference is
roadies.
I could get another drummer.
You need roadies? Yes. I guess depending on the situation.
The front person, the face, is always deserving of the tip because they're the last touching point. That's the person that is making the connection.
Yep. So here's an extra $25.
So if
on our $100 bill,
if the kitchen, the amount, we could argue. We're probably on the same page. I think the amount and the expectation and the what's the word where it's just automatically the tip is on there.
If the meal was good, would you go, I'd like to do an extra 15% for the cook?
If it was mind blowing, yeah. If it was like you order a burger, but this one time you're like, holy cow, what did you do to this?
You can't though.
No, you can't. I know.
You can only go to the front person because they're the last touch point.
Right. So you should be able to tip individually to who touched your point.
Hello. It's crazy. Yeah, and that's
anyway, today's episode is
complaining about tipping.
Back.Burner.
Yeah. Well, there is no back burner when you are your sole job is the front burner. So, whatever.
There is no back burner when your sole job is the front burner.
Yeah. Yep. That person who is this is what I'm talking about. Is that thing you do. It's the questioning thing to make me elaborate
my
out.
quest to understand what that sentence means. There is no back burner. No, what did you say?
So like a front burner position, like their whole job is to deal with front burner. There is no back burner.
Give me an example. I'm not following you.
Like a service person. The final, we're still on this, right?
Sure. So you're saying a service person is the front burner?
They're the last, like they're the important part of that equation, right? Because
the important part is the food you receive.
Whoa.
But the tipping goes to the face of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's screwed up.
Yeah. Kind of.
Anyway, there.
So
I know people don't like to see mom and dad argue.
Well, we have no choice but to dig into the origins of this idiom.
Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
Noise. All right, so let's get into it. It's going to be short and sweet, so our rambling is probably a good thing anyway. This idiom obviously has culinary origin, easily could refer to modern stoves, which have front and back burners. A cook will put the things that are that require less stirring or less attention on the back burners.
The unimportant things.
Yeah, paying more attention
like
to
the people in the back preparing it.
Right. Paying more attention to the things on the front burner. So there is speculation that this goes all the way back to wood-burning stoves. But the further back you go, the less likely there were 4 spots to cook. Because the entire top was a burner.
I wonder if they did things with, and I actually have no idea, if they did things with thicknesses of metal or something that there was hotter spots.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know that either. Didn't come up. Sometimes there were circles present on the top, and I can visually...
You could lift out?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can kind of visually remember opening up the 4 circles on old wood stoves, but it would have different temperatures depending on the position of the firebox underneath. So left, right, front, back, it could vary. But the idiom didn't come into use until the mid-1900s. So maybe wood-burning stoves has nothing to do with it at all. And mid-1900s is when gas ranges or even electric stoves became a thing. Now, I didn't confirm this, but I did hear that originally some of those 4-burner gas stoves, the back ones, were only for simmering. Like it wasn't like you had 4 equal stovetop spots. The back ones were lesser than, so that you could specifically do that. We had a stove that had the 5.
We have 5.
You have 5?
Yeah. There's one just for simmer.
Oh, okay.
There's a 5th one just to.
So we had a 5th one on a glass top stove, but it wasn't even simmer. It was just a warmer. It was barely
right.
Just kept it. It wasn't even, you couldn't cook anything on it, but
right, it's just enough to keep it going.
So older gas stoves, modern gas, whatever stove you're talking about, there are different ranges of heat on every burner, but you do put things out of reach. Let's call it that. Instead of it being about how hot or cold it is, you put it further away from you because you don't have to deal with it in the moment. Regardless of the specifics, items on the back burner are usually being cooked at a lower heat. They're usually barely being paid attention to unless you're cooking for many people. Then you've got every burner on the go.
This is an annoying thing about the Coleman stove is that when your frying pan or whatever is too wide, how it kicks off the little flame guard thing, so that the back doesn't like go on proper.
Oh, the
side flappy things?
Oh, I thought you meant it kicked on the second burner, like lit it up.
Oh, no. Just that it doesn't fit. So so the side things don't.
Yeah.
You're like half resting.
Totally.
Whatever.
Yeah. But there is no back burner on a Coleman stove. Is there 4-burner Coleman? There probably is.
Probably. If you got enough money, you can buy anything.
Yeah, that's true. It'd just probably be better to just have 2 Coleman stoves, 2 regular ones. Anyway, clearly, obviously, comes from stoves, comes from cooking. It couldn't be more on the nose, but it is still idiomatic because it rarely refers to cooking.
Came across this a little unimportant joke, which cracked me up. A man enters a confessional. Says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have signed." The priest says, "It's pronounced sin, but that's not important. What have you done?" "I divided the opposite by the hypotenuse on a right angle triangle."
Stupid.
The intellect of that actually grabbed me. I'm like, that's hilarious.
That is good. What does that have to do with today? Or is it just
it's not important? It's because it's pronounced sinned, but that's not important.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's unimportant. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so anyway.
At first, I thought you were making a fire reference. So I was like, Forgive me, Father, for I have singed. I thought it was going there.
Singed?
Yeah.
See, there's so many priest jokes. Yeah,
A gang of priests. What was your...
Forgive me, Father, for I have singed.
It's sinned.
Okay, a priest goes to a... what's the people... I'm trying to do what's the language impaired people? The...
Sign language.
Yeah, I'm trying to not use sign language.
Oh.
Yeah. For I've signed.
ASL?
Yeah, it's the Forgive Me, Father, for I've signed. Like, there's some joke there about...
What do they do when they go in the booth? It's just like the priest hears,
Forgive me, Father, for I have signed. I heard someone said, it looks like someone's trying to solve an imaginary Rubik's Cube.
Did you hear another person got busted for doing fake signings on the news? Yeah, another one. But this one is brutal. Like, you look at it and they're like, anybody would know they're signing nothing.
Does anyone vet this process?
I can't believe how many times
you think
this
the first
happened.
person who's needs like the visual support like that would be like like this guy doesn't know what they're doing, or however they do it.
Same thing as picking up the phone, and we keep getting these phone calls, but all we hear is finger snaps.
We don't know what it is. Anyways, yeah.
Well,
we should get into the Riddlinks.
Don't mind if we do. Riddlink is a game we like to play. It takes a two-part trivia-based question, requires a two-part overlapping answer, overlapping by sound, syllable, word, or word. So, for example, last week our idiom was all mouth and no trousers. That was a fun British banter we had there. And we left you with... oh, man, I didn't jot it down. What did we leave everybody with? Do you remember?
Nope.
All mouth and no... Oh, yeah, it was the Three Musketeers mantra is all this.
It's all for one and... one for all mouth and no trousers.
That's it. And that's how you play Riddling. The correct answer is not all for one and one for all. The correct answer is not all mouth and no trousers. The correct answer is one for all and all for one mouth and no trousers. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a tongue twister. Trying to explain that one, trying to learn English, right?
Exactly.
Okay, here we go.
No, hit me.
This low priority task is for a discardable cellular.
Oh, you know what?
But I found these results on search.
Did you say okay goggles?
I don't think so. This low priority task is for a discardable cellular.
Discardable. Oh, Back.Burner phone.
It's a Back.Burner phone. Illegitimate children. Hope you got that one.
Listen, I don't want to confess to those listening of the fact that what they're listening to right now is pre-recorded and not really the day they're listening to it. But every time we do a double, I fail to make Riddlinks for the second one. So I've got nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
So okay. I have a second one.
And you do the second one,
okay,
but tell everybody how they can
illegitimate children, reach out to us on this most disappointingly second one.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I think for some reason I put them on the back burner when I'm preparing 2 episodes.
It's so far back that, well, I guess I'll just get the tip today.
That's right. See? Who would get the tip today? It'd be you.
Your knowledge of the idiom is way better than mine. So
yeah, but you're the face.
I would split it with you because I think that's fair.
Okay.
You can reach out to us on
else.
But you can reach out to us on Instagram. The producers in for a cut?
No.
No.
Not even the person that presses record.
No one.
No one.
No one. We're just greedy. Greedy fat pastors. That's what we are. You can reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebook, the YouTubes, or the Twitter, the X.
You always pluralize it. The YouTubes, the internets, the X's.
The Facebook, the Instagram, the stuff, the X, whatever.
All my X's live on Twitter.
3 minutes gone. At 3 minutes gone. Here it is, the final one.
Do it. Give it to me.
Rural Australia is unimportant to them.
That's a good one.
Rural Australia is unimportant to them.
That's pretty great. And that is 3 minutes gone. Nicely done.
A little something, something.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun arguing for you. And now we're just going to go make up. I'm skinny.
Remind me to... Oh, yeah. This is an off-air conversation. All right, I'm Jurassic Park.
And these are the Village Idioms.
Listen,
Wow, you found a song with a
That's soft
Back.Burner?
and gentle.
Wow.
last 3 minutes gone